Peace and blessings, family. Sister Ajali. I'm glad that Jamie Foxx is apparently recovering at this moment, as opposed whether or not he's still in critical condition. His daughter Corinne posted that he had a sudden collapse, and I see it was on a set of his latest movie. And she said, "We wanted to share that my father, Jamie Foxx, experienced a medical complication yesterday. Luckily, due to quick action and great care, he is already on his way to recovery." We know how, I can't read the rest of that, because he is not beloved by me. And as far as, ask for privacy, I surely don't know anybody in the Fox family that I would be invading their privacy. And due to his just absolute adoration of Becky, I have absolutely no love for Jamie Foxx, but I surely would never wish him any harm. I hope he experiences a full recovery. He will never in a million years, because he is so stuffed up Satan's butt, be anywhere in the circles that would recommend my shares, would warn him, even if they've never heard of me, would even begin to understand low-level radiation and its harm. I'm going hard on that because most of us don't. Most of us do not. Dude needs this book. And the places he would hang, they would never, ever mention anything of this sort, where there's ways to get radiation out of your body. When Dr. Bandashevsky was in prison for 7 years and they were torturing him, trying to drive him insane. Literally, the methods are exactly what they use against Black you and me. One of the things he came to realize is that the people who had directly imprisoned him, they understand man-made radiation. These titular leaders of these countries, they have absolutely no idea the details about man-made radiation. That's not something you're going to run across. That's something that my king and I were going over all the different cartoons that have characters who, because they were exposed to radiation, and they got stronger. As a matter of fact, before I even get to Jamie, just look at what these devils do. Nevertheless, from the point of view of mental health, the most favorable solution for future uses of peaceful atomic energy would be the appearance of a new generation which would learn to adapt to ignorance and uncertainty. This is a direct quote from the World Health Organization's 1958 technical report on how to deal with all nuclear accidents. They would employ global methods to keep all of us as ignorant as paint. Right? That's why we don't understand what I'm sharing. And that's why they got ridiculous propagandistic stories out here like this, so that Black you and me will see this and we'll think we're invulnerable because of our melanin. And let me thank Sister Celestia Danes for sharing this article with me. Thank you, Queen. The dogs of Chernobyl are experiencing, and they call it rapid evolution. What the hell? This is that double speak crap where they're not going to go over what I read coming from the scientists who were telling the truth about what happened in Chernobyl. The amount of mutations that happened. So they want to say that, oh, look, it's evolution to blackness. No, this is propaganda for Black you and me. And so that we will think that we're immune to radiation. Oh, hell no, we're not. I remember when I went looking for deformities, because I know these dudes, they deliberately target black us with radiological contamination, and it was almost impossible to find. I would find the unfortunate microencephaly children who there's a cluster of them born around the Hanford nuclear facility or anywhere the Columbia River, all the fishing's been shut down. Okay, there's so much to this, and I have to just, narrow it down to a certain focus. But yeah, all the fishing has just been shut down. But when I found this channel, and I don't know how long they're going to report on these terrible deformities that are happening amongst Africans who have the most pure level of melanin you can get. There ain't no Caucasians going on up in there for the most part. They're working on it, though. They're working on them. And Africans are highly vulnerable because they do not have the knowledge about the Europeans and those derived from Europeans to understand what they're looking at. And so when I saw this, I just was like, it was so blistering. And I see nothing on the level of this amongst black us in the diaspora. I realized that they're shipping radiation directly to Africa, as they are doing in India, because they know with India, they have such magical thinking that when they give birth to a baby with 7 legs, they're going to just automatically assume it's Shiva being reborn. But they're giving birth to the same deformities in Japan. As a matter of fact, the highest rate of suicide in Japan, which is amongst the highest suiciding nations out there, is pregnant mothers. That wasn't the case before Fukushima. All right? So I want to emphasize, having melanin does not make you immune from radiation. That's why they're offering reparations out in California, and they got all this stuff going on in Portland and Oregon, making you think they love black you, when those places, they never had slavery. They always had racism, but they never had slavery. Why are they offering reparations? Because they know that those places are saturated with radiation. Most of these celebrities going out, and I've got the list, and it's incredible. Black, white, all colors. They're going out on the West Coast where Fukushima hammered them. And I'm sure Jamie Foxx is out there, because one of the things that radiation does is it makes your heart stop. All of a sudden, it takes very little damage to the heart muscle to cause that fibrillation activity, that pumping back and forth, to just seize up and stop altogether. And that's one of the quotes I added to my commentary, coming from, I do believe it was Dr. Galina Bandashevskaya, who's Dr. Bandashevsky's wife. And she said that it just became mundane. It became what happened where perfectly healthy people would go to work, they'd come home, and they would just drop dead right in the kitchen. So when I look at Jamie Foxx, this ain't the type of person. He's not at that age where you would, if this were, 40 years ago, would just suddenly collapse all at once. And I know they have set it up so that we think, oh no, this is some ritual. Maybe the Becky's killing him. Yeah, she is. The mindset, actually, in his own mind, of believing white people, so much so that why would you ever want to be hooked up with a white person when you're beautifully black? That makes no damn sense whatsoever. Not at all. Right? And so he's got their concept of what makes you successful all stuffed all up in his head, enough that he could get excited by this woman who in 5 years is just not going to look like what she looks like. But because he's living that hella weird life, he's just going to be like the white man and get the new model. Okay? I'm just saying. They're not the people they portray themselves to be in their movies. And so, yeah, in that way, yeah. Because he would need his food tested too. He would need to be able to measure the amount of curies per kilometer in wherever territory he's living. And so that he could know that it is a hazardous situation. He should not be consuming any vegetation that is above 50 becquerels per kilogram of whatever item he's eating. Actually, you should not be eating anything that's radioactive because this stuff bioaccumulates. So you could be eating little increments and it's going to eventually build up to what Dr. Bandashevsky proved. He just proved it. Is an accumulation that destroys every single organ in your body. But at that level, your inevitable decline is just pretty much guaranteed. And these dudes, they be living that vida loca, where they eat and consume everything that completely, just the radiation is like a steamroller through their immune system, on top of it destroying your thyroid and your thymus function, so that your whole healing rhythm is flatline. And so I just want to share how I documented all of this, and that's why my channel's gone, because they don't want you to know that everybody is going to be like, oh no, this is a whole new, she know I'm not. All right. And so this year I did, and now the Atlantic is dying too. This is from 2017. Because we have a tendency to not understand that radiation doesn't stand still. And the fact that these dudes are not talking about it at all. That is massively disturbing. And so this is the share right here. And now the Atlantic is dying too, where I haven't even started watching this one, but I'm like, whoa, I was on it, okay? And I don't like patting myself on the back. It is so annoying. I hate people who do that. I don't hate myself. I'm just saying. But it's necessary to point out, support your warriors, okay? And so study Fukushima fallout detected in fish from the Atlantic Ocean. This is an article from 2013. I think I was showcasing this when they still had E&E News up there. If you go now to try to open up E&E News, it says enenews.com. I don't know, they'll get rid of that too, but at least I'll have it documented. You try to go and open that up, and nothing happens. It doesn't even look. Doesn't even say. There's no such page. It just is nothing there. They got rid of that baby because they were like, oh, no, you don't. No, you don't. Okay? So it's not just one time frame where radiation is deadly. It's not just one spot where it's more or less deadly. Then in another spot, it's deadly everywhere. So for us to assume that it's just disappeared and all the death we're seeing is attributable only to ritual murders or some jab, when I don't even, do I need to show you the pictures of all the creatures that started dying in the Pacific Ocean first? Do I need to even show that to you? Right? They didn't get a jab. They didn't. Who would be ritually murdering these guys? It's like so easy to see the patterns, so that hopefully we're not thinking with Jamie Foxx's mind, which is mindless. I don't know how many shares going over just this whole trajectory, the pattern, and woo, when folks do that, it's like, oh my goodness, this one called it years back. Well, yeah, you on the channel with a sister who I called it years back. Caribbean coral is getting sick and dying. A probiotic could help. That's a bunch of crap, because this is what happened to Australia. And I went over, there was a pattern, because this is science, to the dying of the mangroves and the coral and the pilot whales all up and down the entire Pacific Rim. Dr. Z shared this one with me. A 5,000-mile seaweed belt is headed to Florida. This is what also was happening in Australia, that gigantic mounds of seaweed. And because the creatures that would have ordinarily consumed those things, they were dead. I mean, look at this. This is like these dudes are super creeptoid. And they think this is real. It's not. The devil's about nothing. That's what that's what the Most High warns us about all the time. Because you got people out there so spooked out by anything satanic that they think it has some sort of power. No, these dudes, they just are liars. They are liars. They're in control of nothing. Nothing. And that's where they're headed. To antimatter, to the lake of fire. It's nothingness. They do not control that, not at all. But they will do their smoke and mirrors best to fool everybody. And they sure got this dude. All right? All right. And I hope the best for everybody. I don't like him. No, not at all. I'm like, wow, you got black daughter or a black. I don't know how many children he has because I have no interest in investigating his life. It's not a life. But you're going to have Becky's all over your arms. That's just, woo, that's bad parenting. So salute from me to all the mighty brothers who love saying it loud and proving it in their deeds, because we see you. All right? All right. Go to 25000yearcycle.org, where now I can see if you're purchasing a soap from another black soap maker, then I give it to you. Keep on. You found something fabulous. Stay with them. All right. Buy my soap, one package just once. If everybody went out and purchased my soap, I'd be testing your food within the span of I don't know, take me maybe a month to research how to get all equipment, a venue in order to set it all up and just get started. Okay. So if you're doing that, that's okay. But if you got some daggone commercial brand manufactured by folks who are completely silent on anything that would be of assistance to you and your family, you need to go to 25000yearcycle.org and buy all our products, every single one, and especially my soap, because that makes no daggone sense, and you know it doesn't. You know I'm not lying to you. You know I'm not exaggerating. But getting us to support our soldiers when we're for real, I can't believe that's difficult. Why is that difficult? I don't understand that. All right? I hope by now you can see the earnestness of my actions. They're all about loving you. Straight black family pride. And we are out of here. Peace and blessings.